Okay, hello and good good hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today's the 11th of July 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, just a quick mentioning of our JFD Bank YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe in order not to miss any of the videos that we produce on a daily basis. And yep, I believe you can find them useful. Also, something else that you could find useful could be our research page here on our jfdbank.com website, and here you can go in and, like I said, this research section here, market news and analysis. You can check out different pieces of work that we do here on a daily basis. So I believe those can be quite useful for you as well. So keep your eyes on those new articles that we produce on a daily basis. Right, now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE100. Now, looking at this one right now, it's today you can see that it's breaking this key upside support line, well, maybe it's actually maybe a little bit of a tentative one, but nevertheless, it is kind of signaling something here for us. Potentially, maybe could see this one sliding further down. The only thing is that we're not going to rush into this yet, because in order to get comfortable with slightly lower areas or further declines, ideally we would like to see a drop below this area right here, below this little highlighted zone near the 7,497 area. In a way, if you like round numbers, you could round it up towards the 7,500 zone, but yep, keep your eyes on this basically area around here. If we see a drop further below this one, then yep, in a way we could see this one sliding further down, potentially testing the 7,470 zone initially. But if that just fails to withhold, then yep, further declines towards the area around the 7,375 level could be possible. This is where also the index could meet its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, which in a way also could provide a bit of support, and that's why we're not dragging this one further down. We're just going to keep it up until here, but first, like I said before, we could examine further declines. We need to see a drop below this level right here, because if it just hangs around here, and for example this tentative upside support lines just doesn't kind of carry any weight on this index, then well, a nice reversal here back to the upside and a push above the 7,560 zone. This is where it could become a little bit interesting here, a little bit more interesting for the for more buyers here, and we could see this one pushing towards the highs of the 4th of July near the 7,622 zone. Slightly above that, we do have the 7,635 area, just to show you what that level was here in the past. That was basically the high of the 28th of August 2018. So quite an important level. But if, of course, if those two fail to withstand the bull pressure here, yep, a nice good pop above this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could see this one pushing towards the 7,707 zone, approximately around there, and that level marks the inside swing low here of the 8th of August, also 2018. So if we jump back into the 4-hour chart, so basically, long story short, guys, we need to wait for a clear breakthrough one of the highlighted areas here before we could examine a further directional move. Jumping into another index very quickly, and that's Nasdaq Composite. So yesterday we saw the index creating a new all-time high, and that was near the 8,228. Well, if you want a more specific, 0.60 area. So you can see that it reached that level and then kind of slid back down a little bit. So now if we have a look at, for example, at the Nasdaq 100 cash index right now, I mean, we are seeing a bit of a slide here, so in a way we could see this one opening slightly lower, but probably still above this another important area of support, which previously of course acted as area of resistance. Now it could be acting as a nice area of support near the 8,175-76 zone, approximately around there. So this kind of marks the high of the 29th of April, and it's also near the high of the 3rd of July. So if of course the index slides back down here a little bit, certainly it could increase the chances for a further decline. The only thing is that here for us, in order, let's say, to consider let's say lower areas on this one, ideally we would like to see this one falling further, much further below, let's say, the 8,070 zone, and only then we'll start considering lower areas. For now, like I said, we're going to keep an eye on this one. Of course, maybe some could say that on the shorter time frames it is slightly overbought, but I mean, to be honest, we've been there several times and the index kind of continued pushing higher. So that's why for now we're just going to continue observing some of these key areas. If we see a push above the all-time high here near the 8,228 zone, then yep, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could see this one pushing further to the upside, maybe even going towards the 8,250 area. So but again, let's not over speculate too much on this one. First, keep an eye on some of these levels, and in terms of the downside, as I said, initially we'll start looking at this one right here, the 8,176 zone. A nice drop below this could in a way lead towards slightly lower areas, but to be honest, I mean, ideally, in order to kind of get more bearish on this one, we would like to see a drop below somewhere around the 8,070 level, or even you could mark this area right here. Let me just quickly adjust this. There we go. So, or also around this 8,060-61. So basically this nice little territory here. Also, let me actually just quickly highlight that for our future reference, so that we would know what we are talking about and what we were talking about. So basically that's our kind of downside scenario here for the Nasdaq Composite. So keep your eyes on some of these levels. Let's see how this is going to play out. Gold. Now this one is very interesting. I talked about gold this morning, and basically this is what I was telling you guys to keep an eye on, and as you can see, it did kind of exactly that. Well, at least let's say it's doing exactly that so far. So and of course it got held here near this 14.20 24.25 area. It slid back down here and tested this 14.12 zone. So this is what I was saying, that we may see a nice hold up around here, and if this 14.12 zone continues to hold, we may see this one curving up here and pushing back to the upside. For those who are more on the cautious side, what you could do here is just wait until we see a clear push above this 14.25 zone, and only then target higher areas. But then again, with higher areas, we will only aim for, initially we'll only aim for the 14.39 zone, for 14.39.40 area, approximately around here, because as you can see previously, that acted as a very nice area for resistance here. So we could see a nice hold up around here as well, unless it pierces through strongly through this one, and if we see something like that, then yep, we will start targeting much higher levels, but we'll get to those if we see that push through that area. For now, all eyes are on this 14.12, because if it continues to hold, we could see this one curving up and pushing back to the upside. If it breaks, if we see this one sliding back down here, this is going to be our little neutral territory. This is, of course, I'm talking about from the short-term perspective. But if from the near-term perspective, we need to see a drop below the 13.81, 82 zone, approximately around there, in order to kind of consider further declines. But let's say from the very short term perspective, what you could do here is keep an eye on this little level right here, the psychological 1400 level, and if we do see a drop below this, then yep, we will consider a slide like this towards this area that I just mentioned, the area around the 1382 zone. So for now, like I said, keep your eyes on the 1412. Let's see how this is going to play out. A very quick mentioning of Ethereum. This is at a very interesting spot right now, as you can see. So of course it is in a downslide. I mean, it's pushing lower. The only thing is that, as you can see, it's kind of getting held here near this 271 and kind of in a half a level, something like that. So basically near the lows of the 2nd of July. So if this level here continues to hold, and if you see that Ethereum is struggling to push below this, then yep, in a way we could see this one kind of curving up back here and pushing to the upside. Then initially we will target this 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. We will aim for this one. Of course, if it continues to rise here and continues to drift a little bit higher here, what we're going to do here is we're going to target this 296 area, approximately around there. Now, it kind of previously acted as a good area of resistance, quite an important kind of stalling level here, which, as you can see, also now coincides with the 100 EMA, with the 50 EMA, and kind of the 21 EMA as well. So this area right here could become that nice popping barrier here. If of course we get a nice pop above this, then yep, this nice barrier could open the path towards higher levels. So a nice good break of that barrier, of course. So that's why, guys, for now, keep your eyes on this 271 zone. As you can see, kind of currently it's getting held, but if we see, let's say, a daily close today below this level, below the 271 zone, then, well, in a way, further declines are possible, and this is where we could aim for the nice number here, 251, 250, approximately around there. Could be a nice target, and then we'll take it from there, see what he wants to do after. You can see that I do have the arrow here taken from, in terms of the upside, I have this arrow from this 318 zone, but to be honest, I mean, the reason why I have this here, just because if this rebounds, if we see a nice rebound from this area right here, the 271, then in a way this one could start pushing higher, and if it also might get held here near this 318 zone. So in a way we could have this nice little range here forming on Ethereum. So that's why I keep this in mind, just in case, like I said, we see a nice reversal here to from the 271 level today. GBPUSD, very quickly on this one. Also, I looked at this one this morning, and it's finally having a nice run here, let's put it that way. It didn't have this good move for quite a while. As you can see, it was kind of trading below this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 28th of June. This little short-term tentative downside line, it kind of continued to trade up until yesterday, when the pair managed to break it through to the upside. But the only thing is, what I was saying, that when I was covering GBPUSD, I was saying that to keep a close eye on this 1.2540 level, because a nice good push above this is when we could start considering higher levels, because this is where we could get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, and then we could aim for the area around the 1.25, 90, 91, something like that, which is also near its 100 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So you can see we are having that nice good push. It is currently looking quite positive. Of course, we still have the full US session to go through, so be very careful around this one, because it's still GBP. I mean, GBP is still kind of on the weaker side overall, of course. So that's why this push higher could be seen as a temporary correction. But then again, from the very short term perspective, in a way, there is still a possibility to see this one pushing higher. Now, also, what you could do here is just to kind of keep an eye on something here, and basically you could keep an eye on this little tentative downside resistance line. Let me just put this one quickly or quickly adjust it. There we go. So basically this this is what you could be keeping a close eye on, because if this continues to push higher, I mean, yes, this is great from the very short-term perspective for the bulls, and the only thing is that if it struggles to push above this downside line, then well, this move higher, which it could be doing right now, could be seen as a temporary correction before another leg of selling. So that's why, like I said, for now, it's quite interesting to see if it actually can push further up here, maybe to test this downside resistance line. If it struggles to push above this, then yep, we may see another leg of selling here. So keep your eyes on this idea. If, let's say, this suddenly reverses straight away to the downside and starts falling below the 1.2480, and if it actually travels all the way and falls below the 1.2440, now this is where it could turn out to be ugly for GBPUSD, as a break below the 1.2440 would confirm a forthcoming lower low. It would place the this pair in the negative territory for the year, because this level right here, the 1.2440, is the lowest point of this year. Basically, that's the little well, wouldn't use the word little, probably, that flash crash that we had here in January, in the 2nd of January. So a drop below the 1.2440 would, like I said, would confirm a forthcoming lower low, would place the pair in the negative territory for the year, and then of course we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do, if the 1.23 level is going to be the next one, but for now, like I said, this scenario is kind of slightly off the table. First, from the very short-term perspective, let's keep an eye on this, these slightly higher levels. And the last pair for this session, the USDJPY. I've looked at this one this morning as well, and I told you guys that we're gonna get back to some of these instruments, and of course USDJPY is one of those. So basically, what I was saying, that we might see a nice rejection here near the S2, because what I was saying that in the morning we were already testing the S2. We were already quite oversold from the shorter term perspective, of course, and we may see this little correction back up here, where we could test the 108.25 level, and as you can see, we're having a perfect test of that. Maybe we just had a little bit of an overshoot here, but as you can see, the bears are pushing this one back down. Now, if this holds, if the 108.25 level holds, we could see another leg of selling here, and potentially kind of leading the pair towards the 107.50 zone, so approximately around there. For those who are more on the cautious side, what you could do here is just keep an eye on some of these recent lows. For example, near this level right here, the 107.83, a nice good drop below this would confirm a forthcoming lower low on the shorter time frame here, and we could see, like I said, a possible test of this 107.50. In terms of the upside, still we stick to the same kind of rule for us in order to start considering higher levels again. Ideally, we'd like to see a push back above the 108.62 area, approximately around there, and only then we'll aim for higher levels. For now, let's see what it wants to do with the 108.25. If it struggles to overcome it, then we could see another leg of selling. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, on my Traders Espresso at 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a beautiful evening, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.